Game number 1 here. We're at day 4 of N4C, and we have DeMusliM playing as the Chinese, and LucifroN is playing as the English.
Oh, that's interesting. Obviously English, something we would expect. DeMusliM with Chinese, something I would not have seen. I think he's more of a guy who goes for all the aggression, but I also remember I cast a qualifier match with him, and he said Chinese actually are heavily benefiting from the changes there with all the siege, simply because they have the extra range. And therefore, if we go to Imp, it's clearly a Chinese win.
And we saw that in the matchup, the one time we've seen this before on Altai. It was TheMista against Leenock. And they both played really passively throughout the mid game. Mista managed to capture the hill in the middle, and Leenock just kept knocking down all of his siege, basically, with the bombards and taking out his keeps as well.
Yeah, crazy. Just the death ball of Chinese there, they are so incredibly good when it comes to that. The extra range, more firepower. Obviously, big change. The clockwork tower cannot be supervised anymore by an Imperial official.
And both players just kind of scouting the map as we get in. We're only 2 minutes into this one. We see one scout for both of them. And it looks like, I wonder how many sheep LucifroN has under his town center, because I saw DeMusliM already dropping off 5 or 6 and then grabbing a couple more as well.
I have 7 here, the typical build-up, all on food, 3 on gold, and once they collect the 200 gold, you pull those away, 3 gold too much. Pretty sweet build-up, and that will be a reasonable feudal age timing here by our English player.
Look at the wood lines for DeMusliM. Both forward there.
But also easily walled, right? As you can see, if you wall between those two,
I guess that's for LucifroN, not DeMusliM. That's LucifroN on that side. Both forward.
Let me think. English? Oh, we have something confused here, right?
Yeah.
Because this is English. It says it's Chinese at the top, though.
No.
Muslim blue.
Oh yeah, DeMusliM would be blue.
I'm a bit confused, Reno here.
I'm glad that we got confused, 3 minutes into the game, and we didn't go 10 minutes deep and then realize what was happening.
Okay, so it is civilizations and resources switched there, I believe, right? Yeah.
So DeMusliM should be playing as the English, and LucifroN should be playing as the Chinese.
Ah, and now it all makes so much more sense, because I really didn't see DeMusliM as a Chinese player.
Yeah, and we'll get that sorted out real quick. We got Overlay Guy on it right now, guys, so...
And also that comes in with the story that it's not LucifroN.
Nilly is very confused right now, and he's having conversations with our technical team. First match of the day, we're going to get this sorted out for you guys watching as we see pretty standard Chinese build up here, not going for the aggressive Barbican. I think that may have been an option between those two wood lines, but obviously that's a very YOLO play. And like Nilly said, the Chinese kind of looking towards that late game on Altai. We see a villager now coming forward, really far forward for our English player. And that will likely be an outpost somewhere near the Chinese base. And of course, went for the council hall, so the longbows should be in production as well. Yeah, 4 longbows now, 3 longbows queued up.
Okay, we will just continue casting like this. Maybe the wrong player hosted, because typically DeMusliM should be hosting this one.
I would love to get confirmation on who is who, though. I think that would really help.
Okay, maybe we just got... we know that one is Chinese and red, and we know that one player is blue and English.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you... Okay, so I mentioned it when you had your headset off, but what would you think if he had scouted those 2 forward wood lines about putting that Barbican in between those?
Against English, that's absolutely not an option. Against other civilizations, yes.
Okay.
But English can obviously pull villagers.
Oh, yeah, and shoot. Yeah,
with their bows, right?
True,
Actually, good sellout moment for my YouTube. I just had that and won a game 6 minutes.
Oh,
in
really?
6 minutes.
Oh,
yeah.
Even with the increased build time on the...
Yeah, Mongolian Heights. He wanted to Barbican rush me and wanted to get the control there. I pulled 8 villagers, walled in his landmark.
It's not even something you would think about until you make that mistake. Yeah.
Yeah. So, clap that nerd on the ladder. And now, let's see. Longbowmen out. Obviously, first horsemen are arriving, but can't really take the fight against too many. Relatively early tower here. Nice move by LucifroN.
Yeah, and that's just the first of many towers potentially. And that's the one you build in the middle and then slowly work your way forward. Obviously have to be careful about being caught out of position when these horsemen come to call. And he's going to get the increased attack rate on those longbows because of the outpost there.
It's quite some sheep here. Obviously supervising that area. A big change for the Chinese that we didn't have. Typically, Chinese struggling a bit with their early economy. But now, those Imperial officials collecting 40 gold as the maximum compared to 20. And with the upgrade, even up to 80. You don't need that many anymore. And you obviously can therefore delay your villagers on gold.
Did we get confirmation that they had the wrong colors?
I think this is exactly the right overlay.
Okay.
Simply the wrong person hosted the game.
Okay, perfect. So DeMusliM is playing in the red and LucifroN is playing in the blue.
Okay, okay. Will be some price pool reduction. Wrong hosting.
Okay, so no second outpost here, and he's heading back with wood. Was he just chopping there? And now the villager's going all the way back. Ah, okay. You see, he was spending some time chopping the wood. The villager was heading back because the arms were full, and now the villager heads back across the field. A decent amount of horsemen, though, for DeMusliM.
Okay, let's take a look. Now we have some spearmen in production, and that is actually going to be the good counter. Imperial Academy now
so
as well.
Dynasty coming in.
Ooh, faster villager production, and obviously now you could upgrade to those 80 gold there if you wanted to. But mainly faster villager production is what he is aiming for. Longbowman finding a nice pickoff.
Yeah, and the spearmen are there to support. Now that he's gone for the Song Dynasty, that means that he's going to be in the second age for quite a while here. Faster production on the villagers, but obviously you have to expend the resources on that second landmark. So DeMusliM could maybe take advantage of this window. The villager count will begin, or sorry, LucifroN can take advantage of this window. The villager count will begin to climb for DeMusliM. He's got a decent amount of horsemen. But spearmen now being added near those longbows mean the horsemen need to be very careful in engaging.
And arrowslits now coming in for LucifoN as well. Will get some more control for this tower area and blocks the gold. Obviously gold, you can generate that in different ways if you're Chinese, but long term, you need to get control over this area eventually.
Yeah, and there's only that one wood line he can really go to at the back there. So that might be a potential place for LucifoN to try and target. Yeah, he's moved over to that side. DeMusliM has access to that wood line on the right in a safe location, I believe, and now he's looking to go out with the horsemen and maybe get some counter damage in. I just have to wonder what LucifoN has at home in defense, because right now it looks like DeMusliM isn't even focusing at all on that forward army.
Oh, maybe cutting off reinforcements, but look at that. Nice move by LucifoN. Doesn't blindly set his waypoint to the front. He knows that the interception could be an option, so waits for some army and only then sends a group over. But that also means not a single spearman at the front.
Yeah, all the spearmen at the back there, so the longbowman, if he gets out of position, can be taken down by the horsemen, and it's quite a few horsemen as well. And there's the spearman. I thought he had sent some forward earlier, and I believe he has 5 there. So the horseman gonna struggle to engage, and he just goes right under because there's really no villagers near that town center to garrison. Okay, garrisons the archers, gets a few shots in, but good harassment here from LucifroN.
Yeah, certainly. Only finds 1, maybe 2 villager kills, loses his scout, which is really important for vision. Also, Song Dynasty allows the DeMusliM to go for Jungenu now. So we'll go for the Horseman Jungenu composition.
Man, that is just a tiny little corner. Oh no! 2 spearmen going down.
Maybe
3, almost 3 dying there, and that just means that the horsemen will find more success over there, but they can't find success in the middle because there's 5 more spearmen with 5 longbows behind coming across from LucifroN. So DeMusliM is able to keep his base safe, but not able to apply any pressure to those reinforcements.
Jungenu now around.
He's splitting his army, though. The archers are going around the other way, but there's an outpost there.
That's not intentional, right? I think he's just being split by the woodline, and yeah, as you can see, army is now pulling back. Oh, there's not a great fight for the DeMusliM.
No, lots of great hits there for LucifroN. He takes down 1 horseman and gets 2 or 3 hits on a couple others, and now he's gathered his entire army together. We can see that there's 28 military on the field for LucifroN, 32, though, for DeMusliM.
Oh, Let's take a look here. Horseman looking for the engagement. Still not a single military upgrade. Longbowmen doing a good job of dealing with the Jungenu. And look at that. Spearmen, they're finding some kills against the Horsemen, but Longbow numbers are dwindling.
Yeah, that's great positioning there from DeMusliM. He took a few hits running through the Spearmen, but this is great micro, great kind of hit and run with these Horsemen, and he takes down most of the Longbow, and his range units behind are clearing up, and now he's like, okay, this army can't pressure me that much. I'm coming forward to your base. I don't really need to clear that at the moment.
26 military against 19. Still that wood line you mentioned multiple times. Not exciting us too much. And ooh, I also thought he would go for the attack.
I think he should.
Plays it a bit safer than we thought.
I mean, you know exactly the numbers here. You saw the other army come back. It's just outposts at the moment. Why not go forward and at least try and apply some pressure?
That's questionable to me as well. Maybe he wants to clear up those towers because he knew, okay, the Longbow number is so decimated. If I put just 3 Jungenu out here, the Spearman alone won't do anything.
Yeah, look at the military count. Like, he can almost... there's another army coming from LucifroN. So DeMusliM not waiting in the middle when he could have potentially cleared that up. But he's going to take out the outpost. And DeMusliM still with the advantage in military. 35 military population versus 25.
2,000 HP on that tower. That will take quite some time. And as you can see, LucifoN upgrading the others as well. Has some villagers on stone. Wants to go for the strong fortification. Farm count relatively low for an English player. Only at 5, just finishing.
It feels like DeMusliM, with just even a few horsemen, could hold the next army at home from LucifroN, just on that back gold. Maybe if he loops around or something. But he's got everything together. And I guess if you know you're in the Song Dynasty, you have increased villager production, why not play it a little bit safer?
Absolutely, and now it goes on to gold. The economy should be better. English, yeah, they have farms going, but as we saw, not really too much. And DeMusliM with wheelbarrow. LucifoN only getting it now, relatively late for an English approach.
Yeah, the wood line is relatively safe. That was what I was primarily worried about. Like you said before, Chinese can get gold in other ways, and we see DeMusliM 160 gold per minute, which isn't the most, but at least it's something, especially when your gold has been cut off there. LucifroN, is he building up to go to the next stage? No, he's really just full on production right now.
Quite interesting. English obviously is fine with playing a really long feudal age as long as the opponent is not getting Castle Age and is going for Song Dynasty. And look at that. Not Song Dynasty, I mean Castle Age and Palace Guards. Look at that. Ramps now being added. He wants to really clear up those towers.
That's a lot of wood investment there.
Yeah, yeah.
That is a big investment from DeMusliM, and you wonder, is this really the best plan of action? But I guess if you're playing into your win condition, which you said before is getting late game against English, getting that siege ball, then you know, increased villager production, better military, keeping your economy safe at home, it all plays into that.
And he has 8 villagers extra, 14 military advantage as well. Those 2 ramps will easily deal with that tower, even though he has 2,000 HP. More Jungenu, more Longbowmen on the way, but that tower won't do too well. Spearmen trying to fight off the Horsemen.
Yeah, and decent positioning at the beginning there from LucifroN, and he threaded them back through his longbows, and he's going to get some decent hits against the Horsemen from DeMusliM. Horseman population falling, but the range units behind from DeMusliM will continue to do work. Still not the greatest engagement for him.
Oh, the Spearmen, they were at the front and then beautifully positioned themselves to protect those Longbowmen. Nice micro by LucifroN there for sure. And as you can see, Jungenu now scaring this one away. I think this is maybe a spot where I really want to see the LucifroN micro again and how he handled that fight. Now he's taking another one, just trading off. He knows that this tower is not going to stand, but he can just fall back. English obviously good in defending.
That was perfect. The Horsemen were coming around the backside. I thought he was going to lose his entire army there. They took a few initial hits from the Spearmen, and then LucifroN just guided them right through the middle of his Longbowmen and started getting hits at the back while he was targeting the Chuganu at the front. So really great stuff there from the Spaniard, but still, at the end of the day, DeMusliM is at 57 villagers. LucifroN is at 46. Both players with wheelbarrow, and it's DeMuslim's turn to come across the map. He's got 27 military. LucifroN only at 16. And we were talking about wood. I mentioned it before. Both of LucifroN's wood lines are forward.
Yeah. The thing is, though, most of the time English good at defending. We don't have the forward towers. We don't have a scout around. With enough longbows, it is not that easy for DeMusliM to commit. And ooh, look at that. Stables being added. But the food income isn't crazy hot for LucifroN.
He is adding more farms, though, so we should see that spike here with those wonderful English farms. And I think the stables are great because the Rams are going to really be a problem, especially if they start targeting that Council Hall and you have the Chuganu behind, because the longbows are really the only unit he has right now, and they're not going to be doing too much damage to him at all. Still, the longbows able to defend at the front, and DeMusliM has to back up. I think he is adding more horsemen behind this, so maybe trying to build up his mass again.
Both going for horsemen exclusively, and as you can see, 80 gold collected there by the Imperial official. Gold income is actually really solid for the Muslim.
Is that a second town center?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
So villager count really going to start to climb here. He's already 13 ahead.
Wow. Yeah, the Muslim in big control. I'm a bit surprised that he didn't test the water a bit more. Maybe saw the army, and now the question, do you actually add something else? Oh, that's relatively greedy, but he also knows I have all the map control, so maybe it's not greedy. Oh, what are those villagers up to?
I think the villagers chopped through that. I think he can go through there if he wants to, but the ramps are just going to work on the wall, and that wall is just going to get absolutely shredded here by the siege. LucifroN repositioning his villagers, and these forward wood lines, I mean, it has to be annoying for him. He's going to pull away the villagers on the left, get a few shots with them, and DeMusliM even taking out the lumber camps.
Okay, let's take a look. Horsemen now jumping in as well. Junganu obviously better than archers against horsemen here. Spearman number not that crazy high, and now we are taking the big fight here. The Muslim hiding behind the forest.
Yeah, and I love that those Rams are going on a little adventure as well into LucifroN's base. DeMusliM knew he couldn't get them away, and now the villagers have to waste time killing them. But here's the big fight, and LucifroN looks to be in a good position here with his military. Keep in mind that the villager count keeps climbing, and DeMusliM actually manages to wipe up the horsemen from LucifroN, so he's going to be able to push back. He did lose a lot of military, though, in this push.
And almost Spearman. Dave, he's clearing this one up, and the Muslim reaches Castle Age. Not unlikely that we will now see a switch into some Palace Guards, and this is just so nice, right? You force your opponent to stay in long Feudal Age. You yourself are up to Castle Age and have all the army at the base of your opponents.
Yeah, and I think LucifroN's in a tough spot right here as he looks at his gold in the bank, and he's like, oh, I have so much, right? But I need to spend food on army to defend, so it's going to be really tough for me to advance to the third age as well. The Muslims still losing horsemen, but like you said, probably going to make a switch into those Palace Guards. And behind this, he has Song Dynasty with 2 TCs producing.
3 barracks now, also the Clockwork Tower and Nest of Bees. Obviously a crazy good unit against English. This is the moment where English already want to have an advantage, already want to be out on the map, already want to like really put on the pressure. But we don't see that, and the Muslim extremely comfortable in the situation where he should be more on his toes.
Look at LucifroN walling behind this, trying to buy himself enough time, and he's completely cut production here. He's trying to get that food income up so that he can go up to the next stage and try and match DeMusliM. Still, 82 villagers versus 57. DeMusliM, low military count, but it's high-value military.
Yeah, absolutely. And like 2 Nest of Bees are completely crushing a Feudal Age army here of LucifroN if he only has Spearmen and some Longbowmen. But Horsemen trying to find some kills, and that could be a dead IO.
Yeah, that's a pretty good raid, but looks like DeMusliM's going to be there in time to repel this. Even the Nest of Bees getting involved, and that's like my favorite looking unit, I think, when it fires in the game.
Yeah, it's such a nice animation for sure. Some fireworks, and that's exactly what the Muslim is looking for. Some fireworks. Villages are obviously increasing, and now we see, ooh, LucifroN goes for the Man-at-Arms switch as well.
I believe he's on the way up too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Has to be with the extra town center, walls off the left-hand side a bit more, and it's going to be full Man-at-Arm, Longbowman, and Nest of Bees, like 3-4 of those. Could be really good. King's Palace trying to catch up with the production there on villages, but he's over 30 behind already.
The problem I see here is the place LucifroN is going to fight is going to be right beside that wood line at the front. So if he can't fall back behind that line.
Yeah.
He's going to have no wood income whatsoever unless he goes to like the stealth forest, maybe at the back, or any of the miscellaneous trees wandering around. So it's going to be very tough for him. And there's the stone walls. Obviously, we don't allow stone walls in the second age, but he's now in the third age.
And he's also pulling some villagers. Look at the stone. That's going to be a forward keep. And Dave, we mentioned it multiple times. Those two wood lines at the front. If he gets a keep up here and with,
right there.
With Chinese, that just goes up in no time. He's just controlling the most crucial area of this map.
Yep. And the other wood line, definitely not usable on the left. He can still take some from the one on the right. He's building up forces, thinking of a pushback. That keeps going to make it so difficult, though. And the Nest of Bees can just calmly sit behind that. DeMusliM can go out for little raids and then fall back to his keep every single time.
Yeah, really easy. The range on those Nest of Bees is solid as well. Keep will go up, and that's the perfect area to pressure. Do we maybe need Springles to address this? I don't see Men-at-Arms, even with upgrades and Longbowmen, really doing something. And look at the Nest of Bees now. Now they're raining down.
Does he have the resources for that? To continue military production? Like, he's cut production. LucifroN has cut production completely. We can see on the overlay. Adds a few more Men-at-Arms, but do you really have the resources to go into multiple Springles?
Yeah, he doesn't even have the chance to afford the Siege Workshop to begin with.
Yeah.
Right? 200 wood right now.
And he's not going to have any access to wood pretty soon as the Nest of Bees are now in. The Palace Guards in front of them. And like I said, he can go for these constant raids. And every time LucifroN engages, he just falls right back to that keep.
Uh-oh, but how many times can you do that? Because Men-at-Arms are falling at the front. Nest of Bees still doing quite some damage. Villagers were even being pulled, and now we are attacking Longbowmen. Lots of them falling.
Yeah, and the Palace Guards are still alive. Palace Guards are
villagers
still
being
alive
pulled.
in front of this. Villagers are coming out. DeMusliM is pushing in. LucifroN trying to snipe those down, but villagers die. It's 108 villagers for DeMusliM against 64 villagers for LucifroN.
So many Longbowmen dying there. Holy moly, 60 population lead, and it just feels like LucifroN is running out of options. Now attacking the woodline again. So many kills. I want to see a kill count on those Nest of Bees. Feels like 20 for both.
LucifroN is 8 wood.
That's not a lot.
No, it's not. And his income is 90 per minute. Now he's pulling the villagers over to the right side. See how desperate he is? He's going for a lumber camp on the opposite side, the open side of that wood line as more units come in from DeMusliM. He's got the economy. He can spam these Palace Guards, and LucifroN will have to keep falling back, and he just doesn't have the resources.
And Longbowmen still feudal age there as well, not really increasing the damage output. Yeah, obviously the Men-at-Arms of the English will win against the Palace Guards with all their upgrades, but fighting under the keep against 3 Nests of Bees, not the prettiest thing, but might actually find some kills.
Yeah, Nests of Bees running away. You keep getting that extra damage against these units.
Oil.
And boiling oil. Oh boy, and there's another Nest of Bees, and the other 3 got away, and they're going to turn around. And oh, there go the Men-at-Arms. The longbows are still alive, but LucifroN is hanging on by a thread. His food income is great because he's English. It's way higher than DeMusliM's, but his wood income is just not there. He's got a decent amount of gold in the bank, but the production is going to be really, really tough for him.
DeMusliM adding some farms himself now, though, goes for some rams, and that's just Nest of Bees, just so good. Longbowmen trying to make something happen, but it just feels like every single time you like dip your toe into the water, Nest of Bees are burning you.
Yeah, and if DeMusliM takes down these production buildings at the front, like LucifroN's only making Men-at-Arms and Longbowmen, if he takes out these barracks, LucifroN does not have the wood to replace production buildings.
Let's take a look. Men-at-Arms here have to run away, and this is just like you can't take a proper engagement without any wood income.
Yep.
You can't transition into the proper army, and
you're hoping that DeMusliM doesn't see this, basically.
I think you're kind of hoping, then you can just resign.
Yeah.
Full control here by the Muslim population, just absolutely dominant, knows he has the control over the most important area. Something I would love to see behind the scenes is actually the Muslim thinking about the super long game, right? Yesterday we saw he isn't thinking like the way, how can I still lose this game?
Yep.
And one of the options is to somehow play the super late game, so I would love to see him go up and collect those relics.
Even like walls at the side, while you have this map control, right? Along the edges to prevent expansion, or maybe even trying to sneak a few units down the side, in around at the back. But LucifroN, realizing that he can't defend it at home, can't engage with that army directly, he's going to go with the counterattack. It's a good push because this is the only option for him.
Yeah, and it does some damage, right? It pulls the opponent out of position a bit. But the thing is, this is his army that he really needed. Oh, big repair on the Nest of Bees, and now the big raid into the woodline, going to lose so many villagers. The Nest of Bees still alive. Next attack here at the center. So much pressure, and another keep.
Another keep.
W.
Right on both of those woodlines there. The raid will be dealt with. The Nest of Bees at the home doesn't even go down thanks to those villagers repairing. Maybe it does now that DeMusliM took his eyes off of it, but there's another one following up there. DeMusliM still at 115 villagers. He doesn't really care about losing those numbers, and he's going to go back with Palace Guards to deal with that. 47 military for him, 31 for LucifroN, soon to be like 5.
And DeMusliM, if he loses 50 villagers to this raid, he's still ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really rough, and LucifroN taps out. DeMusliM taking game number 1. That was an excellent showing from him. We were asking why he wasn't more aggressive earlier, and he answered us. He was playing towards his win condition, which is get the dynasty, get the increased villager production, have a better eco, and then you can come forward and you can spam units.
Yeah, that was really well defended by DeMusliM. Stayed so calm, even though he saw, okay, my gold is taken away, but he knew better economy, went to those horsemen, and actually was pretty reasonable by LucifroN as well, how he grouped up with the spearman, longbowman, but that one fight where the horseman got the clear up against the longbowman, a bit out of position there next to the forest,
yep.
Then DeMusliM got so much control.
Yeah, and that was after LucifroN took a really good engagement against the horseman, trying to surround him as well. So it just showed you how far ahead DeMuslim's economy was over LucifroN. And the woodlines. Like, if he had a woodline in the back, maybe that game goes a little bit longer.
Yep.
Maybe he can fall back and defend. But because of the way the woodlines were set up, LucifroN was just forced to engage constantly against that keep from DeMusliM.
Pretty solid stuff. And now I want to see what the extra home maps are going to be of DeMusliM here, or of LucifroN. Obviously, we will see his, and it's Dry Arabia and King of the Hill. I already mentioned it earlier. It's going to be quite some fireworks. Goes for Dry Arabia first.
I think DeMusliM said yesterday, when I was talking to him, he's like, yeah, I misclicked King of the Hill. He's like, I hate that map. Remember, he picked it against MarineLorD.
Wow. I didn't think that
or
was
he
an
meant
option.
to. I think maybe he meant to ban it. I can't remember what he said, but he definitely misclicked one of the maps there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it might have been his ban that he misclicked.
And you have 30 seconds to click an image.
Oh no, it's definitely. He's like, yeah, he's like, it's definitely my bad.
He clicks normally in 30 seconds. He clicks at 200 times.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so Dry Arabia, I actually, or for us with the AoE2 background, Arabia is the bread and butter. That's actually not how the AoE4 players are viewing it. Simply because AoE, with Dry Arabia, you're so much more open. You don't have any stealth forest. It's more of a crazy rush map. A bit more open than the average map would be.
Yeah, and they probably have nightmares about playing against Mongols on that map as well, so maybe not like their #1 favorite in their mind.
Yeah, so true. Woodlines around your town center, but on the small side, you have to expand to the sides. And obviously, strong civilizations there that we could see are Mongols. Strong civilization we could see is French. I don't really expect HRE, but
we could see Abbasid as well.
Oh yeah, Abbasid had a good option.
And DeMusliM, I mean, he's had really good starts with the multiple TC boom with Abbasid. Goes for that second TC, and then like 1 minute later, he's adding the third one. So Abbasid, I mean, Abbasid are climbing in people's opinion, right?
Yeah. And what it feels like is people are trying to make something happen in Feudal Age against the extra TC. I talked to Mr. yesterday, and he said, you just go like 2-3 units, deny scouting for the opponent, and then you try to go Castle Age yourself. Because if the opponent is playing the extra TC, Castle Age obviously heavily delayed, and then you try to go for those men-at-arms, right? We saw that yesterday from LucifroN, but he did professional scouts before. He delayed his timing a bit. The 3 barracks very early balance wasn't there. He could have attacked 30-40 seconds earlier, and then the Viper could not have made the crossbow defense happen, for example.
Mr. also said that he only went for that second TC because DeMusliM asked him, like, why are you going for a second TC there? He's like, I only found like 2 sheep. And then he's like, I dropped the second TC, immediately found 8 more. He's like, what do I do? Like, yeah. So he was kind of forced. He was forced into that decision, right?
Okay. And Dry Arabia. Who is that suiting? I'm a bit surprised that LucifroN is going for it. I would have liked to see something more out of the box, but it's only 7 maps in the pool, so I can see that. And LucifroN, he is, except the set against VortiX, where his Civs picks were a bit unordinary.
Yep.
The player that plays meta quite a bit, and here we see the civilization.
Didn't he go
maps
for
again.
Rus? One of them went for. Was it VortiX that went for Rus on Arabia?
I think it might have been wasn't it?
It was Rus against French, I believe. They both picked Rus on weird maps in that set. It really felt like a brothers matchup where they practice against each other so many times that they were like mind games on mind games.
Didn't you tell me? No, I don't know who told me. But LucifroN obviously lost heavily against VortiX, and then they practiced again.
Yeah, and he won the next 5 games.
Sick.
Yeah, like
Actually
5 in a
sick.
row, 5-0. So it shows how close they are. And obviously his performance yesterday against Viper was incredible as well. And here we go. Game number 2, and it's exactly like I suspected. DeMusliM playing as the Abbasid and LucifroN going for the Mongols. Now the Mongols, pretty dire win rate in this tournament so far.
Yeah, and big question mark there if people want to change their approach. And I actually watched, I think, 2 Abbasid versus Mongol games yesterday that DeMusliM and TheViper played against each other. So if LucifroN is playing meta, I think DeMusliM will have a very good plan what's coming this way.
The last one we were watching over their shoulders, which is an incredible experience. I've never really had that before, where I watched 2 pro players play. If you guys ever have the opportunity, make sure you do it. It's pretty rare, but make sure you take advantage. The second one, Viper had a really great start against them as Mongols, and the Abbasid just managed to hang in the game for so long.
Yeah. Absolutely crazy. Something we still have to mention, DeMusliM now in blue, LucifroN in red. So we changed that from game 1, but this is actually how it's supposed to be. We always want to have the higher seed, the player that you can see in the left-hand side camera as the blue player. Typically, that's less confusing.
So if you see a door in the background of the camera, that's our blue player.
That's the
Except for last game. The exception that proves the rule. And here we go, LucifroN getting some vision on DeMuslim's base. And DeMusliM scouting around looking for some sheep. I think he'll find a couple. Yeah, he's already got some under the TC. It looks to be fine for him.
A bit indecisive with that scouting there. And we can already see LucifroN with a really early pasture, as you can see, right-hand side production. And we saw that yesterday. Quite early as well against the Viper, got those 2 spearmen out early as well. As you all know, pasture next to the ovo produces faster.
Yeah, and LucifroN going for that super early pasture yesterday, like you said, in the mirror matchup. And it was funny speaking to Viper about that mirror matchup afterwards. He's like, I don't really know what to do in mirrors. It's not my comfort zone, right? Yeah. So I saw he was going for a pasture, so I went for a pasture. Like, I didn't know what to do.
Let's take a look at LucifroN's sheep count, because I only saw like 3 under the town center there. How many can we see? It is 7 in control, basically. That's not a lot, and that might be like 2 out of the pasture already. He might have only found like 5 sheep on this map.
Yeah,
24.
We saw him really far forward with his con, too, early. He was scouting DeMuslim's base very, very quickly. He's got 2 more sheep following his con. He's going to be able to find one in the corner.
And then like
another one.
Okay.
So this is fine.
Yeah, I think so as well. Obviously, pasture is helping out. The question is, like, do we add a second pasture? And as you can see, no tower rush here against Abbasid. When is the day that we will see just a clean, fast castle out of Mongols against Abbasid? Because you expect the second town, so they don't expect aggression.
I think it's coming. Honestly, I do, because the early aggression for Mongols hasn't really panned out. So I think the meta is going to shift. There's still a great civ, right? And of course, you get the increased stone now from the Uvu as soon as you hit the castle age.
Yeah.
So it seems like it might synergize well.
Let's take a look. Khan now going for the aggression at the other side, and is going for 4 villagers on deer stones though, so that will be some feudal age army. A bit surprising to me, and That wolf won't chase. It's tricky. I think it's so obvious what Abyssal is doing, and they kind of have to be the reactive player here.
And then it's going to get to the point where Mongols assume FC, and then Abyssal go for some weird 1TC rush and try and punish them.
When we had DeMusliM play against the Viper yesterday, it was with the tower rush, but DeMusliM actually forgot what civilization he was playing against, and he was a bit caught off guard. Still had a crazy good defense there, and I actually gave him some coaching after that, right? Obviously, that's like, you lost the game.
Did he listen?
And then I think it was even less respectful than I expected him to be. Normally, like, people go like, yeah, thank you for your feedback. I just lost the game. You could have just shut up. But he was like, just standing up and nodded.
Yeah. Not an optimal reaction.
Yeah,
Very
I
human.
was going like full backseat gaming there. Let's see if he actually took it in there. I told him that after you defended the first Mongol rush, you want to add a scout to scout and see what the Mongol player is up to. So if he adds a scout, it's all due to me. If he doesn't add a scout, he will lose the game.
Okay. Well, you heard it here first, friends. If he doesn't add a scout, he will lose the game. The con from LucifroN being very annoying over there on the wood line, but he's gotten so close. It looks like DeMusliM was trying to bait him.
But there are no villagers under the town center, right? They're all at the berries. There are no villagers at the sheep.
Oh, that could have been so good for DeMusliM if he took out that con early, but it's still behind the wood line, still being annoying. LucifroN paying attention to that now, doesn't want that unit to die, and Nilly, he hasn't added a scout yet, so.
No, I meant when he defended the first aggression, right? He goes for the town center, then we have the aggression, so it's more like a minute 18 scout, I would think.
Minute 18 scout.
A minute 18 scout. Look at that, second town center. Now we will have aggression, we will have some fuel age skirmishes. At some point, Mongols will transition away. And then the big question is, will they go triple barracks? Will they go for lancers? How many relics will they go? And that's the moment where Abyssal normally struggles with scouting, unless you listen to me.
Okay. So that's the second town center position there from the Muslim. I think I would have liked to see that a little bit closer to the berries. Obviously, tricky with the con there, and you don't know what sort of aggression is coming forward, and there it is right there. We've got 4 archers and 2 spearmen heading across, and the Muslim did scout those production buildings earlier, and you know Mongols can get units on the field pretty quickly, so he went for that safe second TC. I'm interested to see if he goes back on stone, because the last couple times we saw him play Abyssal, he went for the second TC and then like just a couple minutes later added that third.
Problem is, the stone is really bad for him this time, right? As you can see at the front. I wouldn't even mind seeing him delete that mining camp, because that's such an easy target, could give extra 25 food, extra 25
Don't let him
gold.
burn it down.
Yeah, but now we got the first hit, so if you delete it, obviously the Mongol player is still getting the bounty.
Okay, let's check what DeMusliM is going into here. It is an archery range for him. He's already got the stable, so he's already got horsemen coming out. And the villager count will begin to climb here. We've got 30 for DeMusliM, 27 for LucifroN, and he goes for the wall, and I like the fact he pulls 4 villagers to get that wall down instead of just keeping 1 there, especially with the ability of the Khan to, the mobility to go over there and potentially start sniping his villagers, plus the archers on the field. Just trying to keep himself safe. Does he have any other stone options here other than the one?
Well, he has a 3k stone at the bottom of the map, but that's pretty far away for him, as you can see that one. Obviously, Barry's next to it, so it might be something he wants to go for later on. Uh-oh, the Spearman a bit out of position. 3 horsemen trying to chase it down, but no. Spearmen are arriving. Yeah,
and it's only 3 horsemen right now for DeMusliM. He's got 2 more in the queue, so he should be up to 5 soon. And, sorry, 4 horsemen on the field, and I guess 2 more in the queue, so probably 6. And he's mixed in a camel archer as well.
Wants to deal with those spearmen. 6 out on the field. DeMusliM, obviously 0 on gold. And look at that, LucifroN. He did exactly what Mr. said. You do some units, and then you try to transition to Castle Age as quickly as possible, and will probably arrive with over 400 stone. That could be quite some mass of either Lancers or Men-at-Arms. That's the big question mark. Blacksmith for now, indicating Men-at-Arms to me.
Yeah, and one tip we got from, I think it was MarineLorD who was telling us, if you want to find a VortiX in LucifroN Smurf, look at who's replacing the lumber camps or the Gers, because they don't. And we can see it right here. Like, you can clearly go to the left side, but he doesn't seem to care.
Oh, yeah. Microing there, not really what he focuses on the most, and wants to reposition his army. Khan trying to find some damage, but nice wall out there as we saw earlier. LucifroN will arrive car stage with actually reasonable resources, right? Still 35 gold there. Probably wants to put some more in that. And the first upgrade I would expect is actually the armor upgrade there, but Blacksmith denied, and that's exactly what I told him. Send the scout out after you defended the first attack. Try to figure out what the opponent is going for, and he sees the double barracks. The big question is, how will DeMusliM react? Yesterday we saw Viper going for triple or quadruple archery range even. For
I
crossbows.
like how you're so humble and you're not taking credit for this at all.
It's actually pretty random. He still had the scout alive, and like, what else would you do with it? So scouting there makes lots of sense. Maybe, just maybe, he would have done it without me telling it.
I think LucifroN needs to get some outposts up near that step readout on the other side, because every single Mongols game, it feels like they're getting raided at the step readout, and unless you have 2 outposts there to garrison your villagers, you're going to run into problems. And the horsemen are already over there with the camel archer. He needs to run away from that, bring some more military. How many villagers are running away there? There's a lot of idle time, and that's 14 villagers. Used to be 15. Now 13 as the second one gets sniped down there, and the horsemen are at the Uvu as well. So really making use of his mobility currently is DeMusliM, and he's starting to bank up resources, potentially thinking about going to the third age. We'll see what LucifroN can do in this transition period. And there's a villager coming forward, but there's a horseman off to the side, and DeMusliM should be able to see this. I'm surprised he's going for those berries, but I guess he hasn't scouted the one at the back.
Oh yeah, apparently also the deer might have been safer for him as well, and I'm a bit surprised now trying to overchop that. The men-at-arms should come in, but they will already go to the berries and we'll find some kills there. This is so risky by DeMusliM, I don't understand it.
I think DeMusliM might be thinking about a town center out there, because he's on stone again. So maybe he's thinking, I'll apply pressure, buy myself enough time, and then potentially get a third town center. Does not have the wood, though, and there's the first outpost, like I mentioned, from LucifroN on that step readout, and the camel archer number is actually climbing here.
Is camel archer into ledge good enough of a defense against men-at-arm all in? Right now, armor upgrades are not in there. Only one for LucifroN. Would love to see the second one. Even goes for an attack upgrade, something we don't see too often. Oh, and Ovo getting attacked with still a quarter of the stone left in it.
Yeah, archers being destroyed by the horsemen. And Uvu, like you said, still being attacked, and actually Phalanx coming in here from DeMusliM. So he's going to go heavy into Spearmen.
I'm really surprised by that. More range. Yeah, you can take better engagement.
I feel like they don't do too bad if you have the camel archers behind and the Spearmen in front, just tanking the men-at-arms.
But is the range really making such a big difference? I think it's like massive fights, and right now he's looking at like 3 Spearmen.
How expensive is it? It's not that expensive.
I thought it was 125 gold or something.
He's got 800 in the bank.
Okay.
I think the issue for DeMusliM right here is going to be food and how he transitions, because he didn't scout the berries in the back. He didn't complete his scouting in the bottom corner, and obviously denied the berries at the front. His food income per minute is at 400 right now, so he's going to have to go out for external sources. I don't think he has any sheep or anything. Okay, he's got some hunt back there, and that's all of his food currently as he goes for a blacksmith at the back of his base.
Pretty late, right? 30 minutes in, we already have 55 villagers, 15 the advantage there, which is pretty solid. And could, with that stone, technically soon build a third town center. But then the question is, how easily can he survive? And now, look at that. Prayer tent, trying to collect all the relics. 3 in the center, 1 at the bottom, 1 at the top. Pretty damn fair.
Yep, outpost over there on that wall from LucifroN is going to be dealt with by the units from DeMusliM. DeMusliM is sitting at 53 villagers, 41 villagers for LucifroN. The biggest question for me is just the food income, and LucifroN is even back there with a villager. He knows the berries are there. DeMusliM does not.
Would be really weird, because that's the area where you want to scout. Now the goal is for the berries at the front again. Where's the tower? This feels so risky by DeMusliM. I don't understand it.
Yeah, maybe he thinks he's playing like he feels he's really far behind in this game, kind of going for desperation moves just to get enough food to produce.
But very little happened, right? He played extra town center. He went for some army, yeah, but he also like found villager picks. Wow, what a villager.
See, I'm not sure I love this from LucifroN because he doesn't know it, but this is going to make DeMusliM go back into that corner, and he's going to see those berries.
Yeah, could actually happen.
So it actually might be good for him.
But LucifroN won't expect that he didn't scout the berries in the back, right? You always have, I think, 3 berry spots, but that seems to be a neutral one, right? Because it's bigger.
Yeah, and is that an emplacement there from LucifroN coming in?
Yeah, indeed. Sprinkled emplacement. Maybe next to his gold spot could make a lot of sense. But there should not be that much gold on there anyways. And actually goes for the one at the front, but that tower will die before.
That tower will die before, and I'd love to see DeMuslim's point of view, if he can spot those berries yet or spot that stone. Oh, he sees the corner of it, so maybe some safe food potentially that he can take back there. I don't know if he notices that berry patch, though.
It's not really shown on the minimap for him.
Yeah.
Right? You can only see it like in the fog of war there, but also pulled the villagers away now. I think this is really unfortunate for him, and he didn't see them. Not a single farm either, right?
Nope, and this is the transition period. He needs food. He needs food. He needs to go up to the next stage. He's still sitting in H2, and he's still taking the berries at the front.
Oh, finally, DeMusliM is building another lumber camp. Just think about it. Like, till 10 seconds ago, they walked endlessly.
Yeah, most of those villagers, though, I think clearing up towers and moving from berries to wood and everything. And
not enough pastures. Look at that. We don't have enough sheep. Idle villagers there.
So food problems for both players then?
Yeah, only 8 villagers can work on a sheep, obviously, if it's completely free. And now you put some more down. Rough estimation is 3 villagers per pasture. And wanted more food income, then he had pastures.
And another outpost. He still hasn't cleared up this villager. She's been so annoying. She had a outpost, I believe, on the berries, on that wall. Went around, got an outpost on the deer, but still. DeMusliM hasn't dealt with it yet, and she will complete another outpost behind his wood line. Camel Archers now at a pretty respectable number, and they're clearing up the men-at-arms.
Oh, those villagers, they won't do too well. They can only kill a tower till it gets the emplacement, and then they should be doing fine.
But he sees the berries.
Okay. But will that be in range? I think with arrow slits, you can range most of those berries.
Look at how many villagers he pulls. He needed food so badly, and now he's pulling villagers out there. He will see that tower. The tower will keep shooting, and we were asking about the range. Okay, as long as he sticks to the 1 berry patch, he's going to be fine. And he's back on the berries at the front, too. He's playing very defensively, just kind of guarding his food sources and making spearmen in defense. He actually went for that 3rd TC on the other side of the wall in a kind of random position there.
Yeah, between the 2 wood lines there, maybe protecting both of them, but obviously you need to build another lumber camp there. Lumber camp 50 wood investment, still doable. And oh, look at that. Now some relics getting picked off. 3 in total, either collected or on the way.
I'd love to see those Camel Archers go back around to that step readout. I want to see if there's another outpost there, potentially from LucifroN. We see the Monk making its way back with the Relic Camel Archers in the middle. At the back there, villagers being... Are those villagers there? Villagers being pulled to attack that tower. Were those the Spearmen or the villagers?
I think those were Spearmen.
Spearmen, okay.
I did the drum roll there.
There we go.
DeMusliM on the way to Castle Age. Long queue there
and
of
here
more
come the Camel
men-at-arms and
Archers.
crossbowmen. DeMusliM, I think if he gets like 2 mangonels out, he should be doing really fine.
Okay, so what does the step readout defenses look like? Remember, you had 15 villagers running away from a couple horsemen earlier. It's still only 1 outpost, but I guess there's not too many villagers on that gold. So LucifroN should be able to save all but 1 if he notices immediately, but he's not going to, and he's going to lose at least 2 villagers here.
Okay, nice pickoff. Also reduces the golden cam, but counterattack for LucifroN. Villager-wise, we have an advantage of 20, though. DeMusliM has to be happy with this one. Obviously, villager production will be crazy for him as well.
And from famine to feast, I guess we're reversing it here, as DeMusliM was at 0 food, essentially. And then he spiked up to 1,600 per minute. And it's still at 1,200 per minute right here as he takes advantage of those berries. He's still going to have to make a transition into farms at some point, or maybe find another berry patch somewhere around the map.
Let's try to find one. There is 2 more
hunts.
in the area of LucifroN. Obviously, that one won't dry out too quickly, but yeah. I thought it would have been really natural to see a small transition into farms. Just add like 5 to 10 for some dry days.
Yep. and he's at 80 villagers now. 80 villagers to 55. There was a decent number of men-at-arms, but Mangonel's now being added in from DeMusliM. He has those spearmen with phalanx, so they will be pretty effective, and it's crossbows added in from LucifroN.
Crossbows actually not that good against spearmen. So Man-at-Arms the main damage dealer here right now, and DeMusliM goes for a big mix. Reduces the cost for all upgrades here in his House of Wisdom. Man-at-Arms, crossbows, goes for the Castle Age Spearman upgrade as well. The big question will be how much siege they're going for. Both can build siege on the field.
It feels like we're getting to a point, though, with the economy of DeMusliM where he can simply just spam units, and LucifroN is going to have to be really careful, especially considering the mobility of those camel archers. If he gets himself out of position, they can always head back to the economy and do damage, and his military is not very fast, so it's going to take him a while to respawn.
One Mangonel now finishing, second Mangonel started. Sprinkles can do a good job, two Mangonels to chase this one down. It seems like the better military for LucifroN when it comes to siege, but the meat on the field looks better for DeMusliM.
Yeah, and those spearmen are just so effective. You wouldn't think they would be, but with phalanx, it makes them so much better, and it's still 52 military for DeMusliM, 43 military for LucifroN. The Springles are going down. The Mangonels did die for DeMusliM, but the Camel Archers are still there. Spearmen heading in towards those Mangonels to snipe them. And DeMusliM has pretty good production behind this. He's got crossbows incoming. He's got more men-at-arms of his own. And LucifroN still streaming units across the field, but I think he's going to lose his siege here, and he's going to lose everything else too.
Oh man, 50 population lead now. The Mangonel clear up is there. Archer upgrade behind this one. And look at the production of DeMusliM, absolutely on point. He's pushing this one away, and a solid 40 villager lead now, plus the army advantage. It's really looking good for
the
our
way
English.
This guy plays Beastyqt is so incredible to watch, right? Like, he just delays, and then it's like when his economy gets to that point, he just flips the switch, and suddenly there's mass amounts of military coming across the field. And it feels like it's impossible to push that location. Now it's going to be LucifroN that's on the back foot. So he doesn't even have map control. He doesn't have the superior military, and he's still behind by 40 villagers.
And another barracks being added? That doesn't feel right for LucifroN. Maybe you need a tech switch there. Obviously, the siege can be built there with the infantry, but just feels like, is that a triple barrack or double barracks being added? So this is full men-at-arms, but DeMusliM already has lots of answers. Goes for men-at-arm plus crossbowman himself.
I'd really love to see, I think we're at the point right now where DeMusliM can split those camel archers off of his main army and just start harassing at the back and providing some distractions for LucifroN, making him split a little bit and, you know, helping this push through the middle. LucifroN even backing up with his Mangonel there. DeMusliM controlling the entire middle of the map. He's got siege behind this, and he still continues to add villagers, still 40 plus ahead.
Absolutely solid game here by DeMusliM. And as you can see, beautiful base, so many connected buildings as well. Tier 3 not completely out of grabs. We are at 33.
It's 60 is just so much.
Yeah.
Like, it's like half the map covered in buildings, it seems.
Well, he also had some expansions, right? Left-hand side is not connected, right-hand side is not connected, the bottom is not connected. There are quite some buildings that aren't really there.
Yeah, I think he's only slowed down here for a bit because he had to make the transition into farming. So it's kind of slowed down his push a little bit, but he's got to be feeling like he's in a comfortable position. Still, question the decision to not raid, or even attempt to raid in the back of LucifroN's base.
Yeah, well, neither player really has a lot of mobile units, right? Like 4 Camel Archers right now. Not really the craziest if there is some defense, and LucifroN was at home, so he will see it, he can react to it, and DeMusliM plays it really passively, I have to say. Yeah. But he knows he's heavily ahead in villagers, right? 3 TC, impossible that the Mongol player can match
And it's
that.
a forward keep, but LucifroN's going to be standing on top of the foundation when he attempts to build it. Immediate deletion there, and DeMusliM will build it a little bit further back. There's 1 Mangonel there for DeMusliM, 2 Mangonels there for LucifroN, and 3 Springled, so maybe DeMusliM needs to add some more siege before it goes into this.
I think so as well. Right now, maybe even a switch into some cavalry could work for our Beastyqt player. We see some more raids here. And where do you build the keep now? It's being built right now, and way more defensively than DeMusliM was initially hoping for. But still, he's completely fine if this game drags a bit longer.
And I think he probably needs to think about doing something to secure that back left side of his base as well. Those men-at-arms may be an opportunity to get in there. I don't think there's any defensive structures on that side or any military to really defend the farming. So LucifroN can still send those in maybe one at a time to try and distract DeMusliM. Coming forward now, both players with huge militaries. Mangonel's attempting to get big shots off. LucifroN pulling back in time, but the Springald is out of position.
Oh, 2 went in there, instantly died. That's Springald that he absolutely needed. Now Mangonel surviving and will help out in the fight so much.
Yep, and 2 siege units going down for DeMusliM, but LucifroN losing all of his siege as well. 1 Mangonel dead, second one following, and a third one on the way as the outpost there will be taken out. A couple men-at-arms in the back of DeMuslim's base, but he just won the big fight in the center. And we'll see how he follows this up. Does he continue to play defensive here?
Look at that, the upgrade for healing under those keeps. Just so nice for DeMusliM in the center of the map, and we'll get back to full HP. Separate out, trying to find a different gold, but...
He just waiting for stone? Is that why he keeps falling back? He's waiting for more stone for another keep?
Nah, he's just healing under the keep right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly more map control could be an option, as you can see. And now, after a big fight, and your army is fully healed again, just brilliant position for an Abyssal player.
Yeah, also positioning there for LucifroN, maybe not the best with the siege.
Those 2 Springles that went in a bit too deep, not really what I like to see for him. Now, Springald placement helping out in the center. The big question, DeMusliM, is he thinking about imping this one, or is the Castle Age going to continue? Map still super open for both of them, so I don't mind to see a longer Castle Age.
I'd like to see DeMusliM maybe send 1 or 2 of these units over to those sacred sites. It's not a lot, but it's something, and it's something you can easily contest, as the wood villagers actually dying there to some arrow fire, and we have ourselves another big battle here. Outpost being set up from our Mongols player. Mangonel getting sniped right away, and I think the second one will follow, so good initial engagement, and DeMusliM does not want to fight against that position.
Uh-oh, that was quite some ways. And all of a sudden, population lead from 50 dwindling down to only 30. LucifroN setting himself into a good position to allow himself a reasonable comeback.
I'm just, like, it seems so passive to me. Like, LucifroN is raiding over DeMusliM's economy. Why don't we even see an effort to do the same thing if you're DeMusliM?
Maybe he still knows, okay, I'm at 130 villages, I'm trying to get all my military upgrades, I'm building all the keeps all around the field, and he's just thinking about the long game so much. And Mongols, yeah, they got some late game buffs, but still, they aren't the best one at dealing with late game raids, so maybe that's the direction the DeMusliM's already thinking at.
It just seems like such a risk-free thing to do. Just send a few units out to explore the possibility, but DeMusliM still setting up that defensive keep and trying to secure his economy at home. Some of the villagers there going down to the Mangonels. Interesting position, and losing a lot of villagers on that stone.
Ooh, that was like 15 going down there. Pretty sick stuff, and Trap still shooting, trying to get something rolling. Men-at-arms there with the defense, but LucifroN also losing quite some numbers. It just feels like DeMusliM is set up so well. What is this aggression here by LucifroN? He was so patient, and now running into this keep. This feels questionable.
Yep, getting a good snipe on the Springald. Gets the second Springald there. LucifroN needs to run back. DeMusliM now building some more siege, and I'm wondering, why is he being so aggressive on that wood line? Does he not have any other options? Is that his only wood that he can go to currently?
He still has one at the left-hand side as well. I'm a bit surprised for sure. Expands further with those villagers, tries to neutralize the sacred site that he wanted to see. Did DeMusliM take his 2 main wood lines? Feels a bit like it, right?
No, there's still wood back there safely.
Okay.
He doesn't need to go to the one forward. Maybe he just had villagers left over from building the keep and trying to take that stone as well. So lost a few of those and is now going to go to another gold and going to try and neutralize that sacred site on the left. Still has his army. It feels like there's an invisible line across the middle of the map that he just refuses to cross.
But why?
Exactly.
He's pop 200.
Exactly. You're at pop 200. It feels like you're opening the door for your opponent to come back into this game militarily.
Would DeMusliM ever do that? Would he allow to a game that he already won give away?
Doesn't really seem like something he'd do, no.
Okay, okay. 200 population against 120. Still trying to manage his advantage here, what it seems like. Killed some small armies, but also, like, I could see it more if he was on the way to Imperial Age, for example.
If he was like building up to something.
Yeah.
But right now he's just pop capped.
Also with some Q there, more men-at-arms will clear up some more siege. And don't get us wrong, he's taking a lot of good fights and he is like maneuvering this one reasonably well. Now it tries to find the snipe against the mangonels. Crossbowmen are microing this one away. It just feels like he could have done more moves than only the one-dimensional push through the center here.
Yep, and he's still just hunting for those mangonels. Mangonels keep falling back. He'll allocate 7 men-at-arms to take care of those, and he'll take the fight at the front. He is losing numbers, but his superior economy and superior production coming into play here. It looks like only men-at-arms and crossbows in production right now from LucifroN, and not able to clear up the siege from DeMusliM. And DeMusliM has figured out that this is the time that he wants to push across that invisible line in the middle, and he's going to go for 3 more mangonels.
Quite some stuff, and against all those low HP units, he was obviously doing really well. But LucifroN, aware of that, goes for some more sprinkles. Also lots of sprinkles in placement here, and will find some kills. DeMusliM, though, pop 200, just an unstoppable army. Look at that, 80 military against 50, and still double the villager amount.
Yeah, and lots of mangonels now here for DeMusliM. As he takes out the Springles from LucifroN, he should be able to push freely here. Also, LucifroN, I think he lost some villagers along the way. Maybe there were some raids we didn't notice. He's down at 60 villagers now.
Let's take a look. Mangonel going down, and that's so much army here. LucifroN, he is at pop 100. He sees like at least 50, 60 military in his base. The esports scratch, and has to type the GG DeMusliM. 2-0 lead. And
really strong start.
He looks relieved.
Yeah. I mean, I've been really impressed by his Beastyqt play in terms of the economy. He gets up that second TC nicely. He defends his base nicely. Always goes for that third TC sometime in the second age, it seems. And opponents really struggle to push against him. The only questions I have is the pushes from him, or the lack thereof, the passivity of it all.
We will, if we get a winner interview, maybe ask him, like, how do you approach this one? Because for us, it feels like he could finish the game, but a great RTSler isn't always trying to finish the game instantly, right? The thing is, like, you are trying to maneuver around with your advantages, and it slowly increases your winning chances. So maybe he felt, okay, if I went all in, if I lost all my army, there's a way to throw this game, and just the full control, cleared up all raids, made sure that every single important spot had a keep, and then only went for the push. The very methodical approach for sure.
Yeah. And he got the win. So how can we judge that? He did get the number beside his name, and now it's 2-0. LucifroN has his final home map coming up, and I can't remember, is it King of the Hill?
It's an aggressive one. So King of the Hill, I think. Yeah, Dry Arabia, King of the Hill, the 2 maps, and DeMusliM. I'm a bit happy for him, right? Day number 2, he had the problem not feeling 100%. Yesterday, day number 3.
Yeah, it was rough. It's really rough, yeah.
He himself declared him as a baseball player with how much he threw yesterday. And happy to see him performing better now. And could maybe go 2-2. But LucifroN, obviously, still the chance to take 3 in a row.
Yep. Yeah, and he certainly has the ability. We saw his game sense and crisp builds against Viper yesterday, I believe.
LucifroN?
Yeah, it's all getting blended together now.
It's crazy with how many sets we have and how many games. But LucifroN against Viper, indeed the opening match yesterday, where we had the man-at-arm approach and also didn't pay off. So LucifroN maybe needs to find some different approaches against the second town center. But Beastyqt, as we mentioned, look mighty strong. Maybe we can take a look at what civilizations we still have left for King of the Hill, the home map of LucifroN, if I remember correctly. Which obviously I did.
Yep. King of the Hill and French seems like a good option here for LucifroN. Obviously, he used Mongols last time around. Not sure if DeMusliM will be wanting to go for Mongols again after yesterday. Really didn't feel like he had a chance at any point in that game, the first game against TheMista.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe English, French for him?
I actually think it's Mongols. Because the
Okay.
big problem with King of the Hill, you have 2 tiny wood lines.
Yep.
And Mongols are so good at denying those, right? Right now, players got so good because you can move away, you can block the vision, and you're reasonably fine against the tower rush. But one Khan, one tower can deny so much from you. So I feel like Mongols, knowing that the opponent can't go for Mongols, feels like a really strong choice.
LucifroN. What's Civ?
French or Abbasid, I would think.
Okay. And we see this scene, which generally means that we're going to be making our way into the game pretty soon here. DeMusliM against LucifroN. DeMusliM up 2-0. Very encouraging for him.
Not wearing his pulse watch there. Right?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Price pool reduction.
No color. Prize pool reduction. Full swatch. Prize pool reduction.
Ay, 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 ay. And we see, oh, how smart am I? This is kind of the set where I'm starting to annoy myself. Where how much I'm talking, like how much my predictions are on point. So I'll be a bit more careful on that one. But we also have to say, LucifroN playing indeed the French and DeMusliM trying to find the counter there with the Mongols against that.
And how many lessons do you think these players took from the match yesterday, if they watched it? Because it didn't look close. He failed on the outpost rush at the beginning, DeMusliM, and then TheMista just all-in him in Age 2 with Knights, and he was never able to respond. So how does he approach it a little bit differently?
I think lots of scouting obviously helps, right? That was what DeMusliM was really struggling with yesterday. He didn't know, okay, what is my opponent up to? What can happen? How can I still lose this game? DeMusliM, by the way, got really fortunate. He scouted towards the north, found some sheep, and we saw the second scout by LucifroN, and the second one at the top won't pay off. I would be surprised if he has a single sheep with the scout at the top, although he already crossed like a third of the map.
Yeah, and it looks like DeMuslim's going to find another one when he comes back to his town center there.
Look at that scout
LucifroN
without a single sheep at the top. Really unfortunate there for LucifroN. Yeah, the barracks opening.
LucifroN just wandering around with no friends behind that scout. No
But-
little fluffy buddies behind him. And I'd love to see his town center to see how many sheep. Okay, he's got a decent amount under his TC.
Yeah, the first scout did quite some good job for sure. And as you can see, a full vision there with the second scout. So still paying off quite nicely. Gets the idea. What?
Did he do the math? Did he run the math that the barracks couldn't complete there? Or maybe he wants...
The barracks can complete.
Yeah,
Just
I know.
decided you scouted
Especially with
it
the
there
con
early.
there.
Oh, and goes for the pasture instead. Change of approach. Did he maybe not find... He had enough sheep himself. Wow. Wow, that's super interesting to me.
Maybe he deleted that and LucifroN thinks that he's going to build another barracks and move it forward towards the Uvu, like somewhere safer. So maybe LucifroN thinks he is going to go for a barracks eventually.
But you know that the opponent is playing double scout, right? Otherwise, the scout wouldn't be there that quickly without a sheep.
Yeah.
So you know that LucifroN has the capabilities to re-scout that area. So playing mind games when the opponent can clearly see what you're doing, not really a typical thing.
School of Cavalry there for LucifroN. No surprise whatsoever with the French. His gold is in a relatively safe position. And he actually has a decent wood line behind his town center as well. So if DeMusliM wants to go for an outpost rush, he's going to have to go all the way around.
Outpost rush, not really on the cards anymore for DeMusliM. He's thinking about fuel age. The big question is, what is he doing? And, ooh, finds a kill there against the sheep. Nice reaction by LucifroN instantly. Khan, somewhat annoying, sees 3 on gold. Knows, okay, this is not going to be mass Royal Knights from you.
And Deerstones, no surprise again. That's a perfect place to fit the con. That's just such an annoying place for it to sit. It can hit, if you abandon the gold, it can hit the wood.
Yeah, really annoying. One villager has to be pulled, sends another villager towards the gold there. That means upgrades will not really be an option. No wheelbarrow, no professional scouts. Probably wants to go for one Royal Knight to scare this one away. And will reach fuel age. DeMusliM obviously a bit later, but I think he's sent like 6 on Deerstone there. So, oh, look at that. What an early
Outpost
outpost.
around the Uvu?
What? Is this a fast castle? But with fast castle, you don't need to send 6. Why are we building an outpost there? Lots of question marks in this game for me.
Does he think there's going to be some sort of pressure coming in towards that? And
But he saw it. He has the Khan there. He didn't see a single building. Obviously, no School of Cavalry is an option. Cancel the barracks. What are those villagers up to? Goes for the stone. That will be a French player with the second TC. This is one of the most confusing games we had in this tournament for me so far.
Mind games upon mind games here. Both players adapting to what they've seen, what they've learned since being here in Berlin. And this is very, very interesting as we see one knight on the field from LucifroN. I believe he's creating another, and the villager has to run back to that town center after she completes that outpost.
DeMusliM, quite some stone now. Not going for any production, really. It's basically arrow slits now as well. The Khan, the one-man army. And we're not going for barracks, no stable.
And he's fortifying it.
No archery range. This is a fast castle by DeMusliM. And then wants to go for lancers? Kind of has to be the play.
How's this food economy looking with only one pasture?
Obviously, you will run out of sheep eventually, so would love to see some more pastures. Now the knight is helping out against the Khan. Can we find the kill here? Looks like one more shot needed, and finds the kill.
Yep, and the knight is going to struggle to catch up to that Khan. DeMusliM will keep running around with that thing, and he is slowly starting to bank up resources here. Still no production for him. You can only see that sheep on the left side in his production queue, so definitely seems like a fast castle play from him. I just wonder how good the economy is going to be from LucifroN by the time he gets there.
Wouldn't be surprised if it's like a 15, maybe even 20 villager advantage, right? It's double TC. It will
And faster
also
production too.
Oh, French, indeed. And we have the archer range. Is this a Mango Knight play? Because why would you go archers? I think he will go for like 2, 3, 4 Mango Dice.
I would love to see it. I'd love to see it.
But Mango Dice aren't the craziest raiders when it comes to an opponent that is already set up with town centers. The big question, obviously we mentioned it earlier, where does the French player expand when he wants to go for wood? And yeah, already walls off. And double TC and the wall off. It feels like LucifoN will be bulletproof. This could be a long game.
Yeah. I guess just where is the other wood line? You mentioned it before. He's got that one behind his base, and then he's walling to that wood line. It feels like if DeMusliM really wants to get in, he can, though, especially with all that other open area. Attacking with the Khan and might be able to take a villager here. There goes the first villager of the game right before the second TC comes up. DeMusliM now has vision on that second TC, so he knows exactly what LucifroN is up to, and he's also banking res, so he's got 800 food in the bank right now, 500 gold. It's looking good for him to click up soon. And it's Mangonite production. I love to watch this unit.
I think it will be only 2 Mangonite, though. I don't really think that you can achieve too much. It's more like, okay, I will deny you vision. I will clear up those knights. Obviously, they struggle quite a bit against Mangonite, but that's kind of it after that. And then the big question is DeMusliM, Men-at-Arms? Is it Lancers? I don't really have a good answer, to be honest.
No, Knight goes down. Okay, Knight dies, and the Khan is still baiting those horsemen, although needs to be careful. It doesn't die to the town center, and the Khan actually does go down. So the only horse archers on the field are going to be those 2 Mangadai he created earlier. I believe that's another stable from LucifroN.
Looked like it. Quite so surprised, right? Oh, no, barracks, actually. And goes for, yeah, it's a second...
Barracks stable.
Yeah, barracks and stable. Losing the Khan here, not the biggest thing. He got all the scouting intel regardless, plus the Khan will be back once we are in Castle Age. Now we see another stable, so will be the Lancer approach, but as we mentioned, LucifroN's eco will be heavily ahead.
Step readout there. Where are the other gold positions for DeMusliM? He's going to have to go forward onto that hill once the gold runs out near his town center, and I don't think there was too much left on that. Horseman being pulled back. Great micro there from LucifroN to save him.
Okay, now tries to chase it down. Ooh, it seems like we are running out of food there. Going for the berries at the bottom instead of the more aggressive deer that were a bit further to the front. So feels okay. The raid might be coming in at any moment. And look at that split. One scout around trying to find out what's up. 3 horsemen trying to find another angle. But DeMusliM with those Mango Die denying vision quite beautifully.
Yeah, and it's only 2 units, right? Only 2 units. He managed to distract the army from him, and he managed to make LucifroN start thinking about potentially more Mango Die coming onto the field. But here we go. DeMusliM is in Castle Age. And the production is going to be into...
I think it will be mainly Lancers. Not a lot of wood, so no extra town center. Obviously double production there, still 400 stone in the bank, so can go for quite some. And whoa, look at the minimap. LucifroN going for the massive walls.
Wow. Wow.
How much wood is that? Like 200, 250 wood investment just to feel safe. And those Lancers, they can obviously get quite some pressure on there because you can't have villagers directly next to it to re-wall.
That is crazy. I guess my question again is, where's the wood behind this wall? Where's the wood? How long is it going to last? It's just up there in the north. Okay.
This is interesting how this one will develop. DeMusliM still goes for some more Lancers. I don't think he will get in there before the walls finish though. Triple pasture next to an over as a production. Chivalry now on the other side by LucifroN. He will actually sit behind walls, but also continue to build some more feudal army, which is a bit surprising. Village advantage now up to 15.
I think he might just be buying himself time to get these walls down. Just a little bit of pressure there. And DeMusliM saw those units, so he's not going to head out immediately. And now he's gathering his army a little bit, using that stone that he banked up. I believe 4 Lancers already on the field here, and the wall is almost complete. He's going to manually task those villagers. Hopefully he gets it down in time. If those Lancers get in, it could be really, really annoying for him. But I think it's going to be just on time as the Lancers are searching for a way in. The Knights make their way out. And the last 2 bits of wall will be thought about but not clicked.
He had a villager on the wrong side and wanted to have her in his base as well. That's why we had this weird dance there for a second. But as I mentioned, it's really tricky to re-wall this area. It's just such a long area. Already Khan and Mango are behind it, so you can't really take villagers. And then 4 Lancers, they are really solid against what LucifroN has on the field here.
Yeah, LucifroN continues to make spearmen, so he's getting ready for the Lancers to come into his base, getting ready to defend. Not yet up to the next age, and doesn't have the resources in the bank to even start thinking about it.
What do we see here? It looks like a prayer tent already. So DeMusliM thinking about the long game. 5 relics, reasonably fair. 1 next to his base here. Can obviously expand to the main gold spots. And now starts to outpost the center. So wants to get some more vision. Wants to benefit from more areas with aura.
Those 3 Knights still hanging out at the back, maybe looking for opportunities. And there could be a window here to do damage while DeMusliM is distracted in LucifroN's base. LucifroN noticing those Lancers coming in, obviously through his wall. So he pulls the villagers away from the berries, won't lose anything there. And there are the Knights. DeMusliM has to garrison into his town center, and he's going to pull his Lancers back. And he doesn't have anything in production to deal with these.
1 villager down, now tries to go for the conversion and the healing behind this one as well. Knights get out of range.
Great play there from DeMusliM. He did not back up an inch. He
Re-walled.
stood his ground, and it's been re-walled. The villager did die there. Behind, we can see the body, but he fully completed the wall for his nation.
A true hero there, and buying himself some more time. Nice defense there, but we will collect quite some relics, and it still feels like a stronger army for DeMusliM, but eventually LucifroN's eco will carry him.
Yep. And these 2 Knights from LucifroN continuing to do damage here, continuing to be annoying. DeMusliM just, it feels like he wants all of his military forward, can't really allocate any of that to go back to deal with these, so he's just going to keep garrisoning and firing with that town center. LucifroN being annoying there, and once again LucifroN pulling the villagers off the berries as soon as the Lancers get in. Sacred Site now being captured from DeMusliM. There's only 1 sacred site here. This is the reason they call this King of the Hill, and if you hold on to that for 10 minutes, of course, you will win the game. So LucifroN will need to deal with that at some point. But look at the military numbers from him. He can definitely deal with this. And it's a re-wall, and he trapped him in! Who said there's no quick walls in AoE 4?
Wow, gets the wall in there, and that's 3 Lancers going down without any fighting. Now they're trying to find some villager kills here. Will find some, but the Royal Knights will deal with them eventually. What a crazy move by LucifroN.
I think 3 villagers going down there from LucifroN in the last couple minutes, but look at the villager count. I mean, it's 68 for him. It's 46 for DeMusliM. DeMusliM was in Castle Age much faster. LucifroN still not in the 3rd age yet, but the economy is starting to take control here.
If we think about the Sacred Site control, did he actually pull? I think he pulled.
I don't think he captured it. Yeah, he pulled that.
What?
It's in the tower.
Why? What happened there? Were there knights around? He could have jumped into the tower later.
Maybe he wants to get more outposts around there before LucifroN starts thinking about it. It's so weird.
Timer running for you.
Yeah.
Maybe we didn't see a raid there. Maybe there were some knights around for LucifroN forcing the unit into the tower. Yeah, I lost low HP. So something was around there.
Okay, and he's starting to build up more military now. He's got crossbows in the queue, but the military numbers still for DeMusliM. 8 against 25 for LucifroN.
And remember, Mongols, if you think like King of the Hill, they want to control the center, but walls, not really an option for them. Keep, not really an option for them. So it's basically mass outposts, and all the stone then has to go into those emplacements. But I think DeMusliM, I think his OVO is even empty, and he didn't build the next one, no?
Is he still getting stone?
No.
No?
Out of stone there. And yeah, deleted now. Is building the OVO a bit further down there. Nice. Quick reaction. Roughly around the 15-30 mark. You want to think about that.
We see upgrades coming in from DeMusliM. He is now heading into men-at-arms of his own. But LucifroN is here now at the middle, and he saved that monk earlier. But he's not going to save him for very long, as that outpost will go down and the monk will die as well. Sacred Site also being contested there at the middle, and that will be denied. Only 20 seconds in his control.
Yeah, not too much gold gathered there as well. And now we have the switch for DeMusliM. Goes for the infantry plus crossbow composition. Pretty damn strong against what LucifroN has on the field. I think LucifroN needs to think about a tech switch as well. Still, close to 20 villager lead. Looking really good. If it wasn't for the woodline there, that is now getting harassed.
Should think about going up too. I mean, I think it's time. Honestly, he got 1,300 gold in the bank now. I think if maybe...
Wait. He's feudal age.
Yeah. You didn't realize that?
I thought, yeah, he was feudal age, but I thought eventually...
Yeah, he still hasn't clicked up.
Okay, yeah, I think it is time. I think
it's well past time to think about clicking up to the castle age. I mean, I think he's banking resources now, so he should be able to soon. 79 villagers for him. That is 17 villagers ahead of DeMusliM, but DeMusliM has all his techs in. Or the techs he was thinking about getting. He's building up an army once again. He's at 26 military, and he has the ability to make siege with those infantry as well. So maybe he can get himself a good position on this sacred site.
Well, let's see
and try and hold.
Let's see about that. Both players having the army around that area. Obviously losing all the holy units there. Not the prettiest thing. Now we see some more...
Is that a second TC from... there it is?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Not something we see too often from a Mongol player. 66 villages, 79. So catching up a bit there, but which is really surprising. LucifroN might have struggled with macro, because he should still produce faster than a Mongol player.
DeMusliM also with 2 relics currently. LucifroN with 0, and he's just kind of hiding in his corner of the map. DeMusliM stretching out his legs. He's getting comfortable on King of the Hill. And back through the gate, back behind the wall is LucifroN once again as he makes his way to the castle age.
Population incredibly close. It just feels like DeMusliM is working towards the better army composition. Like men-at-arms, spearmen, crossbow against spearmen, knight. Doesn't get me too excited. And now the main gold ran out. You have to expand a bit further forward to another 4k gold. Very easy to raise.
Is that same weak monk in the middle? Did he get out of the tower?
I think he built a new one. I think both died.
Is it? I don't think he has any HP. I think it might be the same guy.
That would
Maybe he got away.
Now another raid there at the woodline at the top, maybe with mangonels. You can ground attack over wood lines. Goes for some farms. And if you ground attack next to the mill,
you'll get all 3. Yeah.
you get all the farms plus all the bounty. So actually 3 volley gives you endless amount of resources, and that could be DeMusliM. Now let's maybe switch into DeMuslim's point of view, and we can actually see how much gold he is getting there and how much more resources are coming in. And as you can see, bam, gets so much.
Yeah, and this is just denying food eco from LucifroN. And we were talking about these wood lines earlier, right? If DeMusliM takes a good position here, it's going to be really, really tough for LucifroN to continue to find that wood income. We can go to DeMuslim's point of view right now, and he's dealing with night raids at home, but the main army there seems unstoppable for the time being. Continues to produce near his Uvu, forces for defense, and continues to make more siege coming forward. That's the 5th mangonel in this forward army.
Oh, the Knight's still really annoying. Doesn't really have the army to defend there. Separate out, reposition. And as you can see, how much gold and food is always getting in there simply because the mangonels are flying in. And look at that. He can't even put the resources on the map because he's killing so much at the front.
I think that was like 10 farms he's already taken out.
Look at that.
Oh,
and
my God.
Bam! Resources are flying in. Holy moly.
And there's more farms he can attack around in the north, too. So LucifroN is going to struggle for food eco after this. He's going to have to replace all of this. And, of course, the extra resources coming in from DeMuslim's side. Big fight here, though. The mangonels getting some huge shots against the units from LucifroN, and DeMusliM feels like he's going to be able to protect his siege, and he's got way more units coming across the field. Wonder if we can go back to that main overlay as LucifroN surrenders the match. DeMusliM taking this 3-0. What an impressive performance.
Oh, that was a lovely game by him. And that was so weird, right? French early second town center there, and DeMusliM just making the right decision. Second town center himself, got some lancers in, didn't overcommit, got the eco upgrades, got all the control. And LucifroN maybe overbuilt Spearman, right?
Yep.
He was walled, and the mass Mongol army never came.
Maybe stayed in the second age too long. Like, it feels like maybe he needed siege there, potentially, to stop the mangonels. But he went for a super passive play, right? The huge wall off along the side. The second TC, I think adding the second TC of his own might have been a good play there from DeMusliM.
The thing is, like, didn't we mention earlier that like walls at the top and double TCs already protecting so much area? The only thing that he was really protecting with that big wall was one berry spot.
Yep.
Berry's not the most.
I guess it was like, it's kind of giving him an early warning if the units came in and giving him time to respond. But still, like, there's not too much to hit down there from that angle.
But he had 20 spearmen, right? Is it really like, do you need a warning? It felt like he had enough there.
Maybe it's just not super confident in himself.
Yeah. Also, he knew that his economy is ahead, right? And that's just the typical way how you think. You are ahead in the economy, let's prolong the game, and eventually it will carry you.
Also, you go into that kind of game with that build in your mind, the 2TC build, and maybe he thought DeMusliM was going to go for some earlier pressure as Mongols, and he thought he could get away with that. And then as soon as DeMusliM goes into that fast castle approach, completely different scenario.
Absolutely. And I think you might be casting the second set or the third.
I think I'm casting the third.
Okay. Well, I will give you a rest anyways. Let's go over to the interview couch and hear it from the man, hear it from DeMusliM.
Ta-da! Congratulations. You're smiling. I haven't seen that in 2 days.
No, like, obviously my second day was really rough with the lactose issue. Yesterday I was just like, I don't know, the games were, I was the best thrower of all time, I think, because against TheMista where I went 0-3, like two of the games, or one of the games I was especially winning, and I didn't know, and I was just so jittery. But yeah, I think I played pretty good today, and I got to show kind of how I play, and also like, I was just speaking with Leenock before downstairs about like, I mean, we'll go into the games individually, I guess, but we were talking about Mongol because you have to play it so different now.
Yeah.
Like before, every choice you made was a good choice, and then you didn't know what was actually the good one.
Yeah.
So we were like, maybe fast castle, and because you get so much gold with the step redoubt, maybe using the market to get wood for a second TC and stuff if you see them booming. And when I saw that it was in H2 for so long, I was like, am I winning? I got like, I got so flustered, but yeah, I'm so happy.
Okay. Very sweet. How do you do like that mentally, right? Obviously, game 2, I can see how you just brush that off, right? You will play better the next day if you feel 100%. But after the 3rd day, and like you so unhappy with your performance, how do you mentally prepare for day 4?
So every day's a new day, right? Clean slate and all that. And they took the capture stuff off my PC.
Yeah.
Because they said my PC was underperforming, which I was like, oh, okay. I feel that I'm underperforming, and then if it's a two-way thing between me and my PC, then it's just a disaster, you know. But yeah, just clean slate. I know LucifroN's really damn good, and I also want to give him credit. Like, I don't think this deserves to be 3-0 at all, because I actually think he is really good.
Clearly good games.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I think I definitely won out on the draft. In general,
yeah.
I don't. Have many people played Chinese so far?
We have seen Chinese on Alta, actually, the Leenock game against English, against, I think, MiSTer, where China also won.
Aha, and also he went China on Dry Arabia against VortiX's English, right?
Yeah.
Something like that? Okay, yeah. I haven't played too much Chinese, but I think my Chinese is... I play it in a similar way to Abbasid, like kind of solid,
Yeah.
I feel, and very macro-focused. And I kind of tried to bring that a little bit to Mongol as well. So yeah, I'm very happy with today, honestly. Like, it's a huge sigh of relief.
Yeah, and 2-2 with the solid Buchholz will set you up quite nicely to make it into the top 6.
What's the Buchholz?
Buchholz? Oh, we will explain that another time. It's basically the tiebreaker, right? If multiple people are 2-3, who goes through? And basically, you decide who had the toughest bracket so far.
Oh, and it's apparently me?
No, not like, who did you play? Viper?
Viper, MarineLorD.
Not a lot. MarineLorD, you get a lot of points.
TheMista.
You get a lot of points.
And then LucifroN.
And LucifroN, not the craziest.
Who gives the lowest points?
If, for example, Viper goes 0-5, you get 0 points for beating him.
Really?
Yeah.
Viper, come on.
So you are actually hoping that all the players that you played against will actually win from now on.
Okay.
Then you get higher in your own ranking. Obviously, winning your own games still is priority number 1.
All right, I'm going to go warm up Viper after this. You know? I'm going to get him ready. You know,
he's playing next against Leenock.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, I was practicing with Leenock this morning, and as you know, I was practicing with Viper last night, until maybe 2 a.m. or so. And it's so fun because right now the meta is so different, and I've been away for 2 weeks because of Katowice casting and doing the announcement with Team Liquid in Netherlands.
Yep.
So my practice hasn't been that amazing, to say the least. But coming here and just getting to see all these guys duke it out mentally, because everybody's talking, right?
Yeah.
And it's all like theory crafting, and it's evolved so much from 2 weeks ago that it's like a different game again, which makes it so nice. And I can't see it stopping, like the evolvement, because nobody knows what's best, and you're kind of seeing that in a lot of matches.
Yeah. Also, the thing is, after the qualifiers, there was basically a 2-week break of all serious tournaments, right? So no strategies had to be shown. Like, people even started practicing before the qualifiers, after the first qualifier. So, like, some people are, like, for 4 weeks in tryout training, like LucifroN, like VortiX, like MiSTer. So...
And MarineLorD, obviously.
Yeah. MarineLorD even skipped Katowice, $500,000 tournament, just to make sure he wins here.
To be fair, he would have sucked. He would have sucked pretty bad there. No, I think that was a wise choice, honestly, for MarineLorD. Like, I went to Katowice as a caster, but yeah, MarineLorD, like, here's the overwhelming favorite, right? Like, he's the big dog. So
he's damn good,
he is vulnerable. Like, he has vulnerabilities, and every game that he shows, like, he's kind of worried now because the games that he plays, like, he's almost secure top 2. But if he goes 4-0. Then he has pretty much.
Yeah. If he has 4-0, he goes top 2.
But now he's already thinking, like, I don't want to play the next one because I'm going to be revealing stuff constantly. And it's like, well, you've already revealed a lot. He's like, I know, it's ridiculous and blah, 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 blah. He talks really fast and stuff.
Also, with the Thursday off, people can practice again. People can look at games. People can copy his strategies. If he sits out and only has to play on Saturday because he's already in the semifinals, another day of preparation against him. So, like, people will copy him so much, and he's scared of that. Maybe the next 2 days more in the meta direction, but actually, if you're so meta, might be bad for you.
Might be bad for you. What did you think of the games?
I am clueless how Mongols should beat Abbasid. After the second town center, you looked so bulletproof.
Yeah. I think as soon as you start getting keeps down aggressively, I feel like I kind of messed up a lot to the run back. Like he was very good with these men-at-arms constantly, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I thought like, okay, the start didn't go amazing for me. But as soon as you secure, and like you can actually defend with the camel archers pretty well.
Yeah.
Like if you get camel archers and then +1 range, helps your town center deal a little bit more damage too with the arrows and stuff. But yeah, I think Abbasid is actually creeping up as like top tier, which
didn't
is
Mr.
cool.
even say if it wasn't for Delhi, I would always ban Abbasid? He actually started to ban off
he banned
Abbasid.
Abbasid the first day. Yeah. Like, so obviously there's even though it's just like little tweaks, right? Like they buff the berries a little bit, and then they buff the House of Wisdom time, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, they're super good. But they definitely have some matchups that are a bit tricky. But they also have matchups like, I think they're one of the ones that can stand up against Mongol.
We actually have some stats prepared on how civilizations are performing in N4C so far in the first 3 days.
Genuinely surprised to see English do so well though, because I think English is good, but a lot of guys here, they're like, English sucks. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's crazy. Obviously, being the hypecaster, you always try to show like how good a civilization is and like get it there. But even the players say like, yeah, this civ is too strong. This civ is too strong. Well, if all 8 civs are too strong, no civ is too strong.
That's true. But when you have stats like that...
Yeah, Delhi is saying it.
Yeah. I mean, Delhi's really good. It's really good. Like, obviously my series against MarineLorD, I was messed up, like physically. But I didn't realize how decently I was in the Delhi game, because I felt he did everything right, and I did everything wrong, and I was still in it, like 20 supply up, but I didn't know. But yeah, Delhi, special stuff.
One game I still... Like, you played very methodical in game number 2 with Abbasid. Like, you finally set up 3 TCs, had lots of army, had the keep in the center. Like, what was your thought process there? Because in our eyes, you played extremely defensive from there.
Yeah, I was a little worried about him doing some switch, a little PTSD from the horseman switches and stuff, I guess. Or like, some random trebuchets coming out of nowhere. I felt I was getting control, like I had so much gold left on my side of the map, which was a massive deal, and I was cutting off gold as well. And like Mongol and Abbasid both rely on gold mining. They can trade, obviously, but as soon as I started locking down positions, I was like, okay, there's nothing he can do, because he would want to be doing that with outposts. And he kind of had one point where he's kind of harassing me with them, but as soon as you clean that up, as long as you have map control, you're always going to outmine, like out-forage a Mongol player. And then late game as well. I think Abbasid's just really sick, man.
Yeah, probably they are. And I'm really happy that you're 2-2 after your really rough games. Still, it doesn't mean... I think you still have to win tomorrow to be 100% sure to go through.
Absolutely. I'm just happy to perform well. Like first day, I think I did good against Viper. I played good.
Clearly.
And then the 2 next days, it was just so iffy, man. But very pleased, very pleased.
Yeah, like you played also yesterday till 30 seconds before the end. You also played really well in game 2 and 3.
yeah, that was just. I mean, Mr. is cheeky, and that was the kind of series, right? Even though I lost 0-3, I don't think the score represented how the games were going, right?
Obviously, yeah.
So that was rough, and then I saw all these comments being like, "Oh, DeMusliM sucks, go home," and it's like,
"Oh, really?
Yeah, people were so mean, man."
Oh no!
And I was like, "Oh, come on, I know I made a mistake, but
yeah.
At least it was entertainment. Like I was a martyr, you know."
We even have a nearly Mr. emote now, where he full like Craigasms when he was falling off his chair nearly.
He was so annoying to play play against, actually. Like, not play style, him physically. He's constantly making noises and jerking about and stuff, and he'll be like, oh, no. And I'm like, oh,
Really?
now I'm winning. And then all of a sudden, like, freaking 150 horsemen turn up. I swear, a minute before that, like, if there's a microphone set up, you can hear him being like, oh, damn it, Russ is so imba and stuff.
Bro, really?
I swear. So, like, he not only game-wise did he trick me by showing me a few horsemen and then, like, whole lot, he was doing it like, oh, no, I'm losing. I'm like, God damn it.
The best bluff ever.
Yeah, like, so
Sick.
next time,
Debated.
I'm putting a wall between us mentally and putting in some proper in-ears and stuff,
Okay,
you know?
okay. Nice.
Cheeky bugger.
Cheeky bugger indeed. We will see him later at the main event of the evening. He will basically be our fourth set, and now we will jump into the highlights of the DeMusliM versus LucifroN, and after that we are back with the Viper against Leenock.